Hi everyone, welcome to AV Automation Hub. And today we have on our platform Mr. Farhan Junaid, who is the founder of Viewit. So thank you, Farhan, for joining us on Sunday morning and giving your time. So let's hear from Farhan. Who is Farhan and what is Viewit?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Anchita. So I'm the founder of Viewit. Viewit is the first video real estate platform in Dubai. The problem we wanted to solve was I was in real estate for a long time, for over 20 years, and the thing I did disliked the most was taking clients for viewings. So I would take 10 clients to 10 viewings. Out of those 10, 9 would say they're not interested. After having looked at the pictures and the description and explaining everything on the phone, you'd have to take them because they want to see it. But the ultimate result would be they're not interested. This was a huge inefficiency, 90% at least for me and the agents I was working with. So we decided to build a video platform where you can see the walkthrough of the house. It's a very simple solution to a simple problem. And during COVID, this worked. So we actually were able to sell real estate or rent properties during COVID because we were all stuck indoors. So we were able to do it without having to leave the house. So this proved to be a big validation, and we just sort of started to continue to build the platform out. Yeah.
Great. I could also see you mention it as like the TikTok of real estate. One is the COVID story, but how did this idea come into the mind? Like TikTok of real estate, like it's so catchy.
Yeah, thanks. So there's two parts to finding real estate listings online. You are working in the industry, you know this as well as I do, is there's discovery and viewing. So the traditional way that you discover real estate is that you have to plug in a location, a sub-location, a budget, perhaps you'll put in the bedroom, bathroom size, and so on. Uh, but there's no organic way of searching. You don't come upon a perfect listing by chance. You have to know where you're looking. So that's the first problem I suppose we wanted to solve. The second, as I mentioned, is viewing. So you can see the property without having to visit it. And the third is that um, TikTok, Instagram are huge drivers of content today. The average user spends about 6 minutes on a property portal. They spend about 90 minutes on a TikTok or an Instagram. So that's almost a 12x difference, 12 to 15x. So we just wanted to bring this same muscle memory that you're doing into the real estate space. And also, we are building a machine learning algorithm that learns as you scroll so that the next scroll, you hopefully scroll into your next home.
That's quite interesting. I mean, because I think you have hit that right nerve. Because, like you said, people spend this much time on the real estate, and while they spend 90 minutes on TikTok, which we can see, like Instagram or TikTok, people spend so much. So why not, include and merge both of this and create a platform? I think that's a fantastic idea. So my next question is, because we all know building a startup is never easy. So what were some of the biggest challenge which you faced early on, and how did you overcome those?
It's really hard in Dubai. So I was in the fortunate or unfortunate. I have a family, I have two children in school, I have a mortgage, I have a car payment, blah, blah, the list goes. I mean, it's nothing that everyone else isn't doing, but I'm a little bit on in my life. So I decided to do this a little bit later. And that proved to be challenging, having to manage expenses and time and so on. The second challenge was we have two big giants, you, Property Line and Youth, and it's very, very, very hard to change sentiments when you have such steeped brand loyalty. Number one. And number two on that front is it's very hard to change user behavior. That's actually the hardest thing to do for any startup. So think very clearly about the problem you're trying to solve and how you're going to distribute that solution to your ideal customer, your market segment before you start. Uh, and the third challenge was funding. So Dubai is a very well capitalized market. There's lots of money, but the real estate space is a very nascent space. It's just starting. There's 4 million people in this town, but a very, very small percentage of this population is into startups. We are part of In5, which is a very good incubation program. I highly recommend it. They can potentially connect you to investors, but more so they kind of advise you how to extend your runway, tech stack, financial modeling, all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing is because we needed funding to continue, we actually got into Techstars Chicago. So we applied to this accelerator program in the US. We had to fly down there. We had to do sessions for like 3 months. And then after that, we got some funding, which allowed us to continue to build. So those are some of the challenges and a little bit of our story of how we got here.
Can you share more around this Inc. 5, how they helped you, and more about the funding which you got? For example, if I were to start, or anyone else to start a tech startup in Dubai or in UAE, so what are the areas? Like you said, Inc. 5 is one of those. So can you share your journey, like how you came to know about them, and how did you
Yeah.
approach? What is the journey around, and what are the steps?
In 5 steps is go to In5.ae and everything is just fill out the application. So the first step is apply online. Second step is you will get a call to come on a steering committee call. There'll be 5, 6 people on a Zoom call or a Google Meet call, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions about your startup, your business, how your go to market, and so on. You should be able to pass that if you know what you're doing and you are passionate about your idea. And then you get in. There's two things in this space, I suppose. There's incubation and there's acceleration. In5 is an incubator, so they don't give you any money. They will provide you a co-working space. They'll provide you a trade license for a very highly subsidized amount. And they'll provide you some basic mentorship. That's what they do. So we got into In5 for 13,000 in the first year, a couple of years ago. We got a co-working space in their innovation center in Knowledge Village, which is a very nice space. We got our trade license for only 1,000 dirhams, where it costs almost 15, 20,000 in DED or whatever. Yeah, they provide you mentorship. They gave us 2 or 3 years. They gave us a booth in GTEx for free, this kind of stuff. Okay, that's incubation. Very quickly, acceleration is there's a couple of programs in Dubai. There's DTech Sandbox, pushed by RSCA Capital or funded by RSCA Capital, and there's Flat Six Labs in Abu Dhabi. Flat Six Lab, these are both highly competitive to get into. There's like two, maybe one or two more. So these guys basically get hundreds of applications, and out of those, they'll choose, I think, 12 startups that they're going to fund. Flat Six offers 150K US as a safe note for 7%. Orisia offers 120 for 8 or 10% as a safe. But yeah, check all this before you apply. This is a lot more grueling to get into. So you have to have some traction, you have to have decent amount of revenue, you have to have a business plan, you have to have projections. You should have month-on-month growth of, I don't know, 20, 30%, ideally. They're looking for the best of the best.
It's like before going to them, you should have something ready. It's just like you go to any Shark Tank for funding. So basically, you should have some working business model in the market, and based on that, they will give you funding or Inc. 5 where they give you the trade license. Before starting a company, you need to register the company. So Inc. 5 can be in the initial stages, whereas the
Yes.
second one, for that, you need to have working
You know,
business.
So because Dubai is smaller, they say if you want to get seed funding, you should be doing Series A revenue. If you want to get Series A funding, you should be doing Series B revenue. Okay, so this means that you should, like, if you want to get seed funding, for example, which is around five, or pre-seed is 500 to a million, seed is about 1 to 5. So if you want to get pre-seed 500 to a million, you should be doing, like in Dubai, at least 1 to 5 million dirhams worth of revenue, which is it's hard. It's really, really, really hard, depending on the industry, and the market dynamics and so on. So it's hard to get funding. And because these are smaller markets with a lot more competition, the numbers they're harder to achieve. We got into Techstar Chicago, so they still wanted some revenue and traction. When we joined, we had a little bit, but they are more sold on the idea, and they push you in a realistic way. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but they want you to be a unicorn, and they want you to be, they believe that every startup that comes to them has the potential to scale to different countries outside of their own. So that's the difference.
While I was just exploring your website, I was also showing for other countries. Are you only in UAE, or have you expanded to other countries already?
We're in UAE, we're in Pakistan. We are also in Greece through a white label solution.
Hmm.
It's smartbnb.gr. It's so a holiday homes company approached us. They wanted us to build a similar platform for them, and it's fully developed by us. So we're live there, and we're looking at launching in some other countries in the next 12 months.
That's really nice. I mean, because I think the idea which you have, that is, I think the foundation is really good, based on which I think people are reaching out. My next question is, we can see there's a, in a crowded market like in UAE. So what makes Viewit different from other platforms or other solutions?
The main difference is you get to see the property without having to visit it. You have to remember the core problem you're trying to solve. At least I have to. And the problem I really want to solve is don't go for the viewing. Watch the video. Make sure you show it to the wife, show it to the kids, show it to the grandparents, show it to everyone, and then go. Because a viewing it sounds like a very everyone has to go do a viewing. It's not a big problem. For agents, it's a big problem because agents are based on commission, as you know from PF. They only get paid 50, 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60% of what they earn. If they don't earn, they don't get paid. So that trip, one viewing is maybe an hour to get there, 30 minutes to show, an hour to get back. That's like a 1/3 of your day. So save that time and hassle for the agent and also for yourself. Watch the video and decide if you like to see it. I think that's one of our unique value propositions. The second is that how we stand out is we want to build an organic way for you to discover real estate through AI and ML, machine learning. And the third is we want to really build an AI ecosystem, not just to sound cool or to be part of the AI movement or revolution. So we were the first to build a virtual agent on our platform. If you check, you can ask it any question to do with real estate, and it'll be able to answer you. We're still working on this to improve it, but the idea is that you should be able to ask any question, like the last sale in MAG 214 in GLT, or the last average of the last 5 sales. What's the rental yield? What's the last rent that happened there? Where should I buy? I have X amount of budget, and it should be able to guide you effectively. So these are the things that I think may help us stand out in the crowd.
All right. Next question is, because I can see the foundation or the model for Viewit is basically the videos. And as we all know, buying a home is a very emotional thing for anyone. Let's say they're spending so much money. So have you seen that result, or have you seen that success story where it actually helped people? Let's say if I have to buy a home, so I would maybe probably go and visit. Have you seen the success stories today for your platform where people checked out the video and they said, okay, yeah, it was very, very helpful?
Really good question. It is a very emotional decision, more so than if you're buying stocks or a car or something. So a video tells a story, even if it's 30 to 45 seconds long, number one. Number two, the agent themselves, they edit it and they post it so that you kind of see what their skills are in this. And then the third is we encourage the agent to be on camera and explain the property. So again, to build an emotional connection on that listing. And then this is the agent I'm going to be dealing with. Do I like them? Am I comfortable with them, or if I'm not? So these are the ways that we're trying to attack this problem, and we provide as much data as we can as well. So with the virtual agent, we're going to add it on every listing. We also have a tool called Valueit, which is a valuation model. And then you can plug in any location, sub-location, and find out what the price, rental yield, developer is. So data and the emotional connection hopefully should help you to find the right listing. Success story. So we're converting about 5 to 7% of our traffic. Converting means people are hitting the call to action, which is WhatsApp, email, or call. And yeah, I hope it's slightly more than, although PF and Bayut are giants, they're doing 4, 5, 6 million hits a month. But the traffic we are getting, we're converting about 4 to 6%. And the users we talk to really appreciate that they're getting to see a video. They do go visit it, of course. I'm not saying we're replacing that process, but at least we're enhancing the pre-viewing. We like to call ourselves the first viewing experience.
Totally agree, because I think when I also see pictures online, sometimes it's not very clear. Say if you enter, how would the bedroom looks, or like what's the pathway, how will it look? So video is much, much more beneficial. So yes, I think it's really good. My next question is, as a founder, how do you approach building your team? Let's say, what are the main tech skills which you look, or you look with a very good background of education, or it's basically the experience which they bring in, not much of the education. Let's say you should be BTech and MBA, or it's just like the projects which you have built in?
This is the best question. Yeah, I myself love tech a lot. So
Mm.
the first thing is I would say if you're a founder, you should definitely have some understanding of this world. Um, Second thing is for us, I think uh, because we're so cloud heavy, we have a lot of video and media and stuff. We needed someone that was good at cloud. So Abdullah, who's our CTO, he's AWS, GCP, and Azure certified. And we have been on all three platforms. We were on GCP, then we moved to Azure, now we're moving to AWS again. So that helps a lot to optimize that with CDNs and all these other things so that media plays fast. Um, the tech stack is pretty simple. Like we're using Flutter on the front end, we're using React Native for our mobile listing app, we're using Node for our backend. And we have two devs that are working on this. So those skills are again, we're not building some crazy foundation model, so we don't need any hardcore AI or data scientist kind of people. So that is being handled by a pretty decent dev who knows Flutter and a little bit of Node. And then the third is the way we built up the tech team is we went to these career fairs in universities. And there you find really, really smart kids, 21, 19, 20, 21 years old, live at home, low expenses, but are really eager to learn and start. So we hired a bunch of them. We have one talented girl, Warisha, uh, who is doing ML and AI for us. Very smart, very switched on. Yeah.
I think that that's really a good approach because in UAE region, what I have seen, I mean, initially when I joined or when I was trying to switch jobs, and when people reach out to me, they say it's very difficult to get jobs in Dubai because they look for your background. Let's say, have you worked in UAE or not? But I think with Viewit, what you're saying, you didn't share anything about you need this much of experience in UAE if you have to work in my company. So that's not the case with your.
No, no, no. I don't.
Hmm,
I think we'll have a little bit of technical assessment, one or two interviews where we can see what you can do. But very
hmm,
soon, when it comes to technical ability, you'll find out like that.
hmm, hmm,
Is this
hmm.
guy gonna be able to cut it or not?
I think that's amazing for anyone, I mean, looking for opportunities in Dubai, what I have seen, because I've interviewed some other people, some other founders from different tech startup in Dubai, and from all of them, I have heard the same. So I think the dynamics are changing in UAE. It's shifting now. For all the startups, they are not looking for your dedicated experience in MENA region, or let's say you should be from this background. If you're doing good, you have delivered very good projects, just share that with them. Based on skills, you can be hired.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone's projects are on GitHub. You can check them out, if they're open
Yeah.
sourced.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Yeah. And secondly, most of my team is remote.
Hmm.
If you have an office and you insist that they come to the office and
Yeah.
want to see what they're working on, but
Yeah.
everything has a process. You push tickets through Jira, you're talking on Slack, you can do
Hmm.
code reviews every day, every week, every month, whatever you want. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's how we do it.
Yeah. As a founder, how deeply you are connected with your engineers, or I would say how deeply you are involved in the day-to-day tech activities, like you're talking about Jira, PR reviews. So I don't expect founders to know this. I mean, from big companies, but from a startups, I can see because they are also from the tech background, and you are also from the tech background. So how much you are involved in all these activities?
On the day to day,
Hmm.
every single thing, I'm on top of them. So, like for example, right now we're moving from Azure to AWS. This is another challenge for anyone that's heavy on cloud. We got $150,000 from Azure, but that only was uh, valid for 1 year. So we had to move to get more credits to continue to build. So we've now moved to AWS. So every day, I'm talking to them about which VM they've closed, have they backed everything up, is it running on front end, have the APIs been cleared, have we moved everything to the new VM on AWS and blah blah blah. So yeah, I every step of the way I'm with them. It may be a little bit too much. I'm sure I drive them a little bit crazy, but yeah, I think at a small level, you have to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page.
So, do you think having a tech background help founders or co-founders, or let's say if you have a good vision or product which you want to build, and maybe you can get a co-founder who is technically very, very strong, that will also help?
Yeah, I think you should have it. I think there's no way around it. You should
Mm.
have some
Yeah.
understanding, and knowledge is completely free.
Mm.
I don't have a degree in tech. It's my passion, so I learned as much as I could. And YouTube is great. There's a bunch of free stuff on Coursera, Udemy. Spend 10, 15, $20, It's a couple of hours of your day, build an app on Swift. I highly recommend that you learn a little bit. Now with AI, people say, well, with AI, you don't need to learn. I don't think that's true. I think you still need to have the basic foundations. How does a front end connect to a back end? What are APIs? What are VMs? How do you run a project? How do you monitor it? How do you actually you know, push tickets and get from concept design to a working product to an MVP and then distribute it to people that actually use it.
That brings to my next question. So, what are the top 4 or 5 things which you do to keep yourself updated, let's say with the tech or with the industry, with respect to your startup or product?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I listen to the All In podcast. There's a great podcast for real estate called PropTech Portal Weekly. Number two is LinkedIn is a very good place. There's a lot of noise on LinkedIn, I think, as well. So I would say follow people that are really in the game, in the prop tech real estate game. The third is we are part of a prop tech community, a WhatsApp group, and a community which is backed by Reese, which I mentioned earlier. Reese is a government initiative which brings together all the prop tech companies in Dubai who want to be part of it. So they have events, they're always talking on WhatsApp, doing calls and so on, trainings. So that's the third thing. With respect to tech, just be around tech folks, see what's working, see what's trending, see how people are increasing efficiency and reducing work time and, getting more done with less.
When anyone starting up or trying to get motivation, I mean, you can listen to this podcast series which he suggested. And let's say if anyone wants to join that WhatsApp group, so what is the criteria?
Oh, it's easy. Just message me. There's a guy called Kareem Hilal. He's the founder of
Hmm.
Pro Tenders. Anyway, he's an awesome guy, and there's
Hmm.
about 250, 300 people on this WhatsApp group. They're always
Okay.
talking. There's probably 20
Hmm.
messages right now. There's either an
Hmm.
event. They all went to PropTech Connect in London recently.
Hmm.
A bunch of them are going to do GTechs. They're at RealTech, we just won an award for PropTech Startup of the Year. They were all a bunch of them were there, and they're famous. So if you're on Instagram, there's a lady called Sylvia. I forget her
Hmm.
last name. She runs a podcast called PropLogi. Follow these influencers who are in the
Hmm.
real estate game and
Hmm.
talking to startups who are doing cool stuff in PropTech.
Many congratulations for winning the award. I think it means a lot for any startup. It gives you that kind of motivation. So congratulations. And my next question is, it's apart from tech, I want to deep dive into the wider area now. So, like Dubai, your product is based on real estate, and there are many startups which are building out around real estate, be it CRMs, be it prop tech companies in the market, saying that there is some expected dip, which will be maybe start from December. Although we have been hearing a lot about that from last few years, but since I have moved to Dubai, I have not seen any dip growing like crazy. With time, there was a dip, a slight dip, but since I would say 21, 22, because of the wars going on in different countries, which has, for UAE, I think it has benefited a lot. And what do you think, like, about the current status? Because your product is totally based on PropTech. Do you think there will be some dip in the market?
Yeah. So here's the data. Uh, every month, Dubai does about 35 to 40 billion dirham worth of transactions, worth of real estate. Number one. Number two, July did 47 billion dirham worth of sale, which is about over 1.5 billion dirhams per day. So if you put it in a context per day, you see what the huge amount of transactions are. Number two. Number three, there's about 60,000 odd brokers in the market. There's about 30,000 registered on RERA. There's another 30, 40,000 floating around. It's hard to track how many real agents there are because sometimes, in the day they're a mom and then in the night they're a real estate agent. So, uh, the 60,000 brokers. Brokers are earning insane amount of commission as well as again, as you know. But there's two dips that have happened. Now, these are small dips. The month on month increase is 1.5 to 2%. From Jan to Feb, you saw 1 to 5, 1.5, and so on. Jan to Feb or Feb to March, one of these we saw the first dip, and then I think July to August, you saw the second dip in terms of negative month on month increase or decrease, rather, in this case. So I think this was the first kind of alarm bell or red flag because we've had 4 or 5 years of constant bull run in terms of real estate price. Um, and yeah, there was reports by Fitch and Moody's, which are big rating agencies from the US, which said that there is going to be a dip. There's 120,000 units coming online in the next 12 to 18 months, which is a lot. Now, the second question is there a population to absorb all that real estate? The answer is, I think yes. Again, I don't have the data to confirm, but I also do know from folks who are in real estate that it's easy to put down the first 10%. Now, this is more on a personal level. You understand, maybe you have friends or family who have bought off plan. They'll go to a developer's office, they'll put down the 10%, they'll feel happy. Okay, great, I've paid the first 10. Then the second 10 comes, okay. This third 10 comes, you're like, oh, I gotta pay my car fees. My son's school fee is there. It's hard to adjust. They don't think those steps ahead. So these non-performing sales from developers' offices are a problem. Now, when they report these 1.5 billion dirhams a day, they actually report the full value. So property might be worth, I don't know, a million dirhams. You put down 100K, but the 900K you've not put, they actually post the whole million dirhams on that daily sale registry, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit misleading. So I do think there will be a correction. I think there will be a lot of folks who will not be able to pay their installments, especially a lot of them are like 60/40, 70/30. So when that 30-40% hits and you can't mortgage it, in some cases you can, you get the bank to help you to pay that 34% down. But if you can't, that's a lot of money for a lot of working families. It's not easy. So this is my opinion.
Like you said, there are some valid reports also from very, very big agencies who are saying, who are claiming there will be a dip. But again, like we see whole around the world, around the globe, there are things changing with maybe new changes in US for the visa for different uh, countries. So I think maybe if we are expecting a dip, maybe those people will also move to UAE, and that can also the dip which we were expecting, maybe that can compensate that part.
Just a small footnote here before we move on is
Hmm.
now the US has started this $100,000 for the H-1B, right?
Yeah, right, right.
Everyone that was going to go to the US, $100,000 is a lot of money, especially if you convert to INR or PKR or
Hmm.
whatever,
Yes.
or even to dirhams. It's a lot of money. So if you can't afford to do that,
Hmm.
then the next best place is Dubai.
Correct, correct. Maybe that will bring more tech startups to this MENA region. People can benefit from them and tech industry because currently the UAE tech hub is not that great if we compare to other countries or and nowhere near Silicon Valley, nowhere. But like Dubai is growing. We can see from last 2 3 years, people are coming from different countries and moving to MENA region and trying to start their own startup. Like you will know more about this than I know. But like, have you also seen that shift? Because I think you are in region from quite a long time, right?
Yeah, I've grown up here. I went to school here, then I went to Canada, then I came back. So yes, the startup ecosystem is very small here. The total addressable market of UAE is about 10-11 million people. Dubai is about 4 million. Your TAM, SAM, your total addressable, your serviceable addressable, and your serviceable obtainable market. Um, yeah, these markets are relatively small. If you go to even if you go to the UK, it's 60 million. If you go to France, 60 million. Europe is 500 million. America is 350 million. So those are huge markets. An example, yeah, I used to give when I was pitching after Techstars is the GDP of the state of Illinois. We went to Chicago. Chicago's part of the state of Illinois. Illinois is not, I mean, it's a big state, but the GDP of that, I believe, is $1 trillion, $1,000 billion. The GDP of Dubai in 2024 is about $500 billion. So it just goes to show that the market, the US is a 24-25 trillion dollar economy. It's a behemoth. You can't, that's where the real startup action is. And that's why they will fund startups who are even at idea stage. You'll see, companies getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million. One of the startups from my cohort raised $7.7 million right out of program. They're 19, 20-year-old kids. They're called Echo Labs. But yeah, so I would be hard pressed to see that these kind of ideas get funded. Number one. Number two, Dubai is growing, it is changing, but I think there was a very famous guy who said, copy, paste, innovate. I forget his name. He's a very prominent figure on LinkedIn. And I don't like that necessarily. So basically, if you look at the big startups who've done well, Kareem has done extremely well. Congratulations to them. But it's like an Uber. And then Souk.com got bought out by Amazon. It was like an Amazon. Um, There's a couple of other food tech companies who are doing well, but generally, the trend here is to copy what others are doing and then kind of and then add features. But now, if on a footnote to that, the Kareem app is amazing. There's a bunch of stuff on there that's really interesting, Kareem Pay and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, the first thing is copy, paste, innovate. We did something that was at the time very original. No one else was doing it. And we've been unable so far to raise funding in Dubai, but hopefully those things are changing now, 2025.
Yeah, I think this concept of copy paste innovate actually, I think, helps people in starting their startup in MENA region because there are many startups in different countries. If I talk about India or different countries, there are many startups. So I think if anyone wants to bring their startup or have that kind of idea, maybe copy from their own country and try to bring their own startup with some innovation. Here, it's not about copy paste. They need more startups. Here, there are only limited players in the market. And if anyone tries to join in, and then will be lost in maybe 3 or 5 years, which I have seen. But with the new startups coming up, I think it's a good one. I don't know who says it, but I think it's interesting, and I think it's very practical also, especially for this region. I would say copy paste
Yeah.
innovate.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a small market. You
Mhm.
want to be able to test your product before you do something that's truly
Yeah.
original that may or may not work. Yeah.
Looking ahead, next for Viewit today, like what are the things, or are you excited about any new partnership or any product which are going to launch? So anything you
Yeah.
want to discuss
Yeah,
or
we have
share?
a bunch of products coming out. We have an AI video editor. So distribution is a very big problem for startups. That's our biggest problem, which I should have thought about before I started. You can build a killer product, but how do you get it in the hands of people, right? You have channels like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Google, and so on. But the conversion rates and the click-through rates on the CTRs on these is not that great, and you'll spend a lot of money for very little validation. So ideally, you want to be able to distribute it in a good way. So very quickly, actually, you're in property finder, so you hopefully will appreciate this. We want to build an AI video editor. You throw in the video. You've done a very basic walkthrough of a house. Okay, like you switched on the camera, you walk through the property. It's very shaky. This you put it into an editor. It cleans it up. It straightens it out. It using AI, it'll figure out bedroom, bathroom, balcony, Burj view, sea view, and so on. It'll take a still of that video. It'll run it through OpenAI's API. It'll see what that image is, and then it'll write it there. The third thing is you put in your name. So Farhan working at I don't know, Better Homes. You put in the permit number. We're connected to the DLD API. We have the endpoint, and the QR code will then show on the top right. And then the last step is you click share. It gets shared to Viewit. It also gets shared to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever else you're authenticated on your phone or your laptop. So that's the first product we're working on. We're super excited. We already have a POC for this, or an MVP.
I'm really looking forward to the first one. It seems really interesting, and I would definitely like to explore like how you can share it across different platforms. I think that would be really a game changer for agents, especially, but they have to do the same thing again and a repeat work for them. With this product, I think with this feature, it will be a lot of automation, like a single platform which where you can use to post on different platform like Instagram, TikTok, or those kind of areas. Okay, and that last question now, my favorite question, which I asked every founder or every startup CEO. Okay, if anyone has to start the startup, what are the things in your way? For example, if you can just walk me through from the funding or the product design, or let's say, what are the steps you can just suggest anyone? So
Yeah.
the path build a startup in Dubai.
The first thing, the easiest way is, I think, build a flow chart or a wireframe of your idea on Figma. And Figma is free. Put a flow chart or a wireframe of your idea together. That's the first thing that I did. Now, actually, you should be with AI, with Cursor, with Replit. You should be able to actually drop that wireframe into those AI tools and have a working prototype on your system. So that's the first thing. It's super cheap. It's basically free. Um, the second thing is get user feedback. I think this is the most important thing. We went to Techstars. There's two big accelerator programs in the world, Techstars and Y Combinator. Y Combinator did Coinbase, Airbnb, all the big companies. So what both these accelerators say is build something that people want. It's a very simple sentence that gets lost on people. So the way you build something people want is you can either assume that you know everything that you're doing, you build a product and then you love it, but that doesn't matter to anyone. Build it, put it in the hands of as many people as you can, get user feedback. If they like it, great. If they don't like it, which probably is going to be the case in an early product, take that feedback and iterate on that. To continue to do as much as you can for free by yourself. Once you see that there's actual legs to the idea and people like what the problem that you're solving, then get a dev on board. And again, leverage AI as much as possible. GPT is great. Claude is amazing for coding. Yeah, and then do some courses, I would say, also on Udemy or YouTube. And the last thing I'll say is, once you have all that, then you can approach Infive, you can approach DTech as well, and they should be able to help you get a trade license and a co-working space and so on. So these are the steps I would take.
Just to summarize, this first one is to create a wireframe, like you said, like a working protocol, so that you can pitch out companies. Second one is you can go for some good courses on Udemy or Coursera. The third one is then reach out to Inc5, and then I think I missed the important one. Do the beta testing.
Beta testing, user feedback, very important.
User feedback.
Yeah, don't spend money. And then, yeah, later go for hang, but in the beginning, don't spend money. Be very careful about spending any money on marketing or anything else until you have a real idea with real user feedback.
Startup ecosystem in Dubai, we get enough support from the Dubai government, and is there like proper policy as a founder? Like, what are your thoughts and what are your views on this one?
It's okay. It's maybe 5, 6 years old. It's okay. There's the Dubai Future Foundation, there's DTech, there's Flat 6 Labs, there's Infive, there's FinTech Hive and DIFC. There are places you can be, but funding is very, 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 5 times I said, it's very hard. We've spoken to Shuruk, we've spoken to Biko, we've spoken to, I don't know, Nama Ventures in Saudi. They're all interested. They're like, keep sending us your monthly updates, newsletters or whatever. But unless you're doing revenue, because it's a small market, the biggest indication that you're doing well is someone gives you money for your product. And that means revenue. So if you're making revenue, they will give you funding. If you are not making revenue, you better have a damn good idea, like a foundation level AI that you've built that's going to change the region, if not the world. Otherwise, they'll just wait for the next big startup or big company to invest. I mean, just a very quick example, you can put your money in the S&P 500 in the US and grow at 8 to 10%. So you need to be doing 3 to 4 to 5 times better than that in order to justify a decent return for the fund that's going to invest in you. So they also have a point, but because of the limited population, they're I guess suppose a little bit short-sighted on what the potential for certain startups can be.
Do you think it's a good time to build a startup in UAE, or it's already late?
That's a good question. Honest answer, no, it's fine. Come build, but like I said, do those steps that we discussed. Make sure that people want to buy your product. For Viewit, a lot of people wanted us to be free, and the problem with being free or a freemium product is people don't value you if you're free, right? You can give it to them for free. They'll, oh, it's free, thanks, and then they'll forget about it. I'd rather them pay and get annoyed at me for not giving a good product than them use it for free and then forget about it. If they're going to pay for it, they're going to remember it. Like, why aren't you delivering me leads? Why is the product breaking at this point and so on? But to answer your question, it's tough if you're resilient. You've got 2, 3 years to put into it. Unless it's a brilliant idea, foundation model, something that solves a very big problem, and you immediately start to see traction and revenue, okay. But otherwise, if you've got 2, 3 years of money, savings in the bank, and you have a lot of passion, you're young, you're smart, give it a shot. But it's hard. It's definitely hard.
Got it. Understood. If you are really passionate about building something, then go ahead. But yes, if you do not have enough capital or that proper vision, then take a step back and think about it and then go ahead. I think that's
100%.
a good message which I have shared. Okay, I think we're almost toward the end of a podcast. So before we just wrap up, I want you to give some message for our audience, let's say who wants to be entrepreneur or who are trying to build a career in UAE. What is your message?
Mm, yeah, I would say get in touch with people who are in the ecosystem. There's a lot of us. We're on WhatsApp, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. Find these people, try and get into the ecosystem, understand what's trending, what's moving, what startups are getting traction and potential funding. Do your research and yeah, talk to people and then come. So you're talking about audience who want to come from maybe from like India, Pakistan, this kind of people?
Basically open for anyone. It's not
Yeah.
specific to one country. Let's keep it generic in that case for anyone who's planning to
Yeah.
move to UAE.
Yeah, I spoke to another, uh, it was an Estonian startup last week, and he's building something in the fintech space, I think. Yeah, I forget what the startup is. He was trying to get into Techstars London. Anyway, long story short, the reason I'm telling you the story is he's like, I'm in Estonia. It's a small country, which is fine, but I have access to the rest of Europe, which is, like I said, 500 million people. But I really want to come to Dubai. That's where the money is. That's where the growth is. There's beautiful cars and big buildings. So there's a misconception that Dubai is loaded and we have all the money in the world just to, throw in the water. That's not true at all. Yes, there's a lot of money for real estate and all this other stuff, but for startups, it's tough. So I would say if you're in a big market like India, even like Pakistan, like Europe or the UK or Canada or Australia, try and concentrate on those markets. They're big. Dubai seems big, but it's still a small population still. It will grow to a large extent, but for now, the bigger the number of people you can address to solve your problem, the better it is for you in the.
Thank you. I think people should take notes from what you said because I have seen many people, and I'm sure as a founder, you must have also interacted with such people. So people just think about Dubai when they hear about Dubai, just they just think about luxury cars or villas, like that fancy stuff. But life is not that fancy as it looks in Instagram reels or those pictures. You have to work really hard, really, really hard. And if you are
Yeah,
at very good level or position in your own country, think about maybe expanding there or just visit UAE for some time and just think about it. Like, are you really ready to invest over here or spend so much of money? So I
yeah,
think that's something which people are lacking. People just think
100%.
about UAE and they just want to move to Dubai, leave their high earning jobs. So
Everyone is moving to Dubai. You see that, everyone from UK to France to Germany to
yeah.
obviously India, Pakistan, everyone is coming here, So there's a
Mm.
before, if you're applying for a certain job, you might have a good chance if you're a C-level
Yeah.
executive. Now everyone from PhDs to economists to all sorts of, very smart guys from big companies are coming to apply for the same job. So it's a lot more competitive.
From last 4 or 5 years, it's become really, really very different. Thank you so much, Farhan. It was really, really amazing talking to you. And thank you for giving your time on Sunday morning. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your journey. And I think it's really inspiring. You gave good tips for starting, building a startup, and very practical things which you shared. I think it's not about those goody stuff which we see online. The reality is much, much different than that. For anyone who wants to connect to Farhan, I will share the LinkedIn profile of Farhan and then the comment section and website link of Viewit. Maybe you can explore more and then let's.
Thank you, Anshita. This was great. And I look forward to watching the episode when it's out.
And to all our audience, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you really enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel and share it with anyone who is planning to build their startup or planning to move to Dubai. I think this will be really helpful for them. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep pushing boundaries. Thank you so much.